This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Hing.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hi, everybody. Oh, it's so nice to be here. We had a nice rain yesterday, and now it's sunny in Southern California. Although I'm covered with mud because my cat, Carl, big yellow and white Maine Coon, he figured out how to jump over the wall. And I was out on my hands and knees crawling through the oleander bushes this morning trying to find him. The wet oleander bushes. Finally found him, grabbed him by the tail. He's in the house now. He's on house detention. All right, today is January 24th, 2012, and it's Dead Celebrity Day, or as I like to say, Dead Celeb Day. Today, I'm going to go looking for George Harrison with the Beatles. No, not like picking off or biting off a big piece of the cookie, right? Like I was saying in the chat room, gee, I hope he shows up. All right, before we do that, though, you can call me on air, and I will give you a reading, and we'll do this after we talk to George. But the phone number to reach me is 1-877-230-3062. This is for all countries, and there's an idle line right now. The rest are full. Who's going to get that idle line? And the number, again, is 1-877-230-3062. And as you may know, I'm a telepath, an empath, a clairvoyant of all different kinds and types. I'm not sure exactly what to call myself, but I try and do everything. So here's an email from a lady. This is a lady named Sarah that I worked with 2 or 3, 4 times. I'm not sure how many times. A lot of times people will call me. They just want one reading. I don't hear from them again for 4 or 5 years. And some people I work with quite often to help them with their lives and their issues. Just depends on what you need. That's why I work by the minutes. You can have as little or much as you need. And she says, let's see, this is from one of our sessions. Venus, just wanted to give you an update. My ex-husband actually unexpectedly paid $1,151 in back child support out of the blue. All I could think of was you saying, lucky, lucky, lucky. Thanks for the good mojo you gave me. Yeah, when I do phone readings with people, at the end I turn off the clock and give you a personal mojo. And sometimes you get them during the reading too. Whatever strikes me. And then this is something that came in recently from the same lady. After she'd talked to me on the telephone, wanted to let you know that I heard from blank blank and another company yesterday. I had already interviewed with the other company last year and thought they weren't interested. I came in today for a 2-hour tour and 3 interviews as blank blank, my contact, confirmed that a future interview with blank blank, the director, will be scheduled shortly. Yay! And then I got another email from her that said, I got the job! Well, we worked on that. And I'm really glad that that worked out for her. So, let's get into this. George Harrison. Some little bit of background here. I used to go to an Ayurvedic clinic in Malibu, California. It's the same group that does the transcendental meditation. They're in Fairfield, Iowa. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of those people, but I've hung out with them a lot and done a lot of things just because I find it interesting. You know how I am. I like my adventures. They always had really great Ayurvedic treatments, among other things, and they taught you TM, transcendental meditation, and they had all kinds of things. It's a Maharishi yogi. I left out a word there, but I think you know who I mean. They always charged outrageous fees, by the way, but I didn't let that stop me because I figured it was, like on my bucket list. You got to do all these things before you kick. And sometimes I would take Summer up there with me to the Ayurvedic, the herbal clinics. Summer doesn't listen to my show, so I can say about anything I want. She's much more reserved than I am. I was listening to her on the last the show right before mine. Her show comes right before mine, the Flow Dreaming show, and she was circumspect about what she said Grandma said about things. Now I would have told you, but that's summer. So anyway, this would really embarrass her, but she's not going to listen, and don't you tell her. So anyway, I'd often take Summer up there with me, and I'd make her go through the treatments, and they're oil-based, and we had to get naked on the tables, and they put oil up our noses while our heads were hanging down. She loved that one. They'd rub oil all through our hair, all over our bodies. We had enemas. We had to take these little enemas they'd give us, and we'd have to wear diapers because you leaked, and oil. You leaked oil, among other things. And we had to wear these old ratty oily turbans on our head to keep the greasy hair out of our faces, and we had to walk around like that between treatments, and we'd be there for maybe a week. She hated it. Anyway, a lot of soap opera stars would go there, and also other celebrities. They'd come for the lunches. They had great vegetarian lunches, and of course Summer and I'd be out there eating with them in our outfits. We were quite charming. And like I said, Summer and I, we'd sit around in our diapers with our heads wrapped in oily rags. It's no wonder she didn't like a lot of adventures I made her take with me. But I'm going somewhere with this about George. People up there would tell me that George Harrison, the Beatle, would come to the clinic. And he'd do it often, and he would just sit and just watch everyone. There was a little room, sort of like a little living room, and you could sit in there and watch everybody walk by with all their oily, greasy diapers and stuff. And, of course, there was a lot of people that didn't look like that, the movie stars and such. But anyway, it must have been an interesting show for him, because it sure was for me. And again, this group was part of the Maharishi group. The Beatles had gone to visit in India, and George was behind going to India. He convinced them to go there because George was very involved in the spiritual life and God and what was going on, that kind of thing. But I remember reading somewhere, one of the women that went with him, was it Mia Farrow, was propositioned by the Maharishi, and so they all left in disgust. I don't know if that's true or not, but I pass it on because, a little gossip never hurts, I suppose. But speaking my mind as I do, I personally never thought that the Maharishi was real. I thought he was a fake. And I always had the sense that he would say, charge the Americans as much as you can get away with. It's just that I like the health treatments and the general exciting weirdness. Even later this group had special houses built in my town, my little tiny town. It was odd. I liked them, and I still like them. They're an unusual bunch. All right, so now my background with George and my tenuous tendrils to him. He came into my head last week when I asked who I'd like to chat with on the radio. I said, who out there is dead and would like to come in and have a chat with everybody? And he came into my mind. I was thinking, oh boy, George Harrison, the Beatles, woo. And so yesterday, I think it was, I was thinking about him and sort of wondering, was he going to show up? And he said a couple of things to me. I said something about, well, what are you doing over there? And he said, I'm resting. I said, well, I guess you might, considering what a big life you had here on Earth. He said, yes. And he told me something else, which I've forgotten, and I forgot to write it down. So let's see if we can go find him now. All right. So we're looking for George Harrison. George. We already made a connection the other day. I'm on the radio now. This is Venus. All right. I believe he's here. He looks very happy. Somebody in the chat room said they heard he was grumpy and that they hoped he wouldn't be today. George, I never heard that about you, but, I wasn't that involved with the Beatles either, I suppose. Were you the grumpy one? He just laughs. He just laughs. He thought that was pretty funny. Okay, well, I know that you got throat cancer, and then you were fighting with that when you were alive, and then a year after that, I believe it was, someone broke into your home and stabbed you a number of times, and once in the lung, and I think it wasn't too long after that you died of the cancer. Well, I can imagine why with everything that happened, That must have been terrorizing. So is there anything you want to talk about now that I've sort of laid out the field here? Is there anything you'd like to say about anything? He says to me, I was the quiet one. He says, I liked to think a lot, and I was always thinking about heaven, in a sense. I was always thinking about what's on the other side. He said, I was very lucky that I had that kind of life, and I was able to travel and research, and because I had so much money, I was able to take time to myself and think and meditate and research the other side or sides or the dimensions. He said, I was very fortunate. I said, well, I'm saying now, well, how did you feel about being a Beatle and all of that and the fame and the fortune? He said, it was a good thing. He said, what I learned from that was that it is indeed not relevant. What do you mean by that? He was saying, well, it doesn't mean anything it doesn't mean any more than anything else. He says, in the world, your job can be cleaning toilets, sweeping the floors, dumping garbage. It's the same thing as being famous. He said it's just living a life, and as you would say, Venus, getting experience. It's just all different kinds of experience to add to the whole. And then he shows me this great ball of yarn, that women use that are all wound up, and some men who knit too, but that cats play with, one of those. And he just says it's like a ball of yarn, and everything you experience, everything that God experiences, or that we all experience, it all goes to this ball of yarn and makes it what it is. He said, I would spend a lot of time thinking and watching, and he said, I also had visions, and this is Venus speaking. I don't know if anybody knows about that. I haven't heard about it. He said, I would see things like you do. He's talking about me. He said, I would see the other side. He said, in fact, I was often over there. It would be like one leg there and one leg here. And he said, sometimes it would make me feel like I would be torn apart. Because he says he really liked it over there, but he'd be pulled back here. He said it was a good thing, though, because the notoriety, the fame, being with the Beatles grounded him in a sense. I'm saying this, you would think it wouldn't have grounded him. I mean, a life like that. But it kept him in the earth, on the earth plane, and when he so much wanted to be scouting around on the other side. So I know a lot of people really loved you and loved your music, and they've been telling me that when they heard I was going to try and contact you. Do you have anything to say about that? He said, I was happy to be able to do that. He said, I needed an outlet for everything he was seeing, thinking, and feeling. He needed that outlet. It was good for me, he says. So, anything else you want to say of interest, or maybe not of interest, just anything you want to say before I have to leave here? And I'm just waiting to see. He's thinking. He doesn't just, like some people I've read over here on the other side, they can't stop talking. He's more like he thinks about it. So I have to do a lot of the talking to fill up the radio air here. So anything else you want to say, George, before I leave? He's talking about a dog. There was some dog he liked. It's a big dog. And I would know nothing about that, of course. It's a big dog and has like a collar around its neck with a bell on it. And again, I don't know what he's talking about. I have no idea. Anything else you want to say? He says, in some ways he misses everything and everybody of the world, but he can always come and visit. He said, but there's so much here to do. He says, although I've been resting, he said, I really haven't done a lot because I'm just enjoying the peace and quiet. I go to a place where it's very silent, where there is no sound. And I just be it. I be the silence. I be the sound. I meld with it. And he said, that's what I'm working on now. Okay, that's very interesting. All right. Well, I'm really glad you showed up. I never know people are going to show up when I go looking for them. I really appreciate it, George. I certainly do. And unless there's something else you want to say, I think I'm going to have to go now and go for a radio break. You remember how that life is. I mean, I just have a teeny part in it, but you were big in all that. He said, and yes, and that's interesting, he said, because of all the sound and the technology, the music, the sound, the noise, all those things that he worked through, he said, that's of great interest to me. He said, because it's similar to or has connections to things on what you would call the other side, the energies, the frequencies. He said, and I think I'll be working more with that over here. And I've even thought that I might work on something to connect with the earth where we could speak back and forth, or we could make some kind of connection. And as he's saying this, I'm getting excited because I've always seen that. I know it's going to happen, and it would be lovely, George, if you could do that, so we could like pick up a phone, so to speak, and I could call up my mom and anybody. Well, I don't suppose we could call anybody, but maybe. And I know that's going to happen someday. He said, yes, it is going to happen someday. And also you'll be able to see. You'll be able to see on the other side from both directions. So he's going into that, and he's going deeper into things I don't really understand, technical things, but this is something he's thinking about. So this will be interesting. We'll see what happens with that. George, thank you so much. I really appreciate your coming. Okay. Well, I don't know what to think. I never know what to think when this happens, and I wish I could remember what he told me yesterday, too. But I see it's break time, so why don't we do this? Why don't we take the break? We'll come back. I'll take your calls. We'll do some other things. Venus and Direct with the Dear Venus Show.
Do you know that all of the Dear Venus shows are archived? You can listen to them anytime. To find the Dear Venus Show with Venus and Direct on iTunes podcasts, the archived shows, or to have the current show emailed to you each week, go to Venus's website at GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. Click on the radio section on the homepage. That's all there is to it. You can have Venus with you anytime, all the time. You may start to feel like she's moved in with you. You can find her archive shows at GodIsAlwaysHappy.com in the radio section on the homepage.
Would you like to have Venus's great mojo energy in your home all the time, influencing and helping you in many ways? Well, you can have that energy. Venus puts good mojo into every painting she creates, and when you purchase one of her paintings, at your request, she'll put in an extra special mojo just for you. She'll write your mojo onto the back of the picture and sign the painting to you from her. To see Venus's work, prices, and how to request your personal mojo, please go to artmojos.com. That's ARTMOJOS.com. You'll feel better just looking at the mojo-filled artwork on her site. Try it and see. artmojos.com.
You know what Venus's mojos are. They are the benevolent energies her mother taught her to pull from the universe. The good energy mojos of all different kinds that help people in all different ways. Venus gathers these energies up from the universe and tosses various ones to all of you each week on this radio show. On her website, Venus has 8 more pretty impressive mojos that have garnered many happy testimonials. Mojos that she has taped with extra added energy and had them each set to special music and turned into MP3s. You can purchase these MP3s off Venus's website for a nominal fee and listen to them over and over again. Venus currently has a special running on all 8 mojos for $20 off. You can find these mojos on Venus's website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. And there are more unique mojos coming as MP3s, so be sure and check back off into Venus's site, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com.
Did you know that Venus does private phone sessions where she digs into the problems or concerns you have with people in your life? These issues can be with men, women, or children, and they can be dead or alive. Venus works to give you a better understanding of what people are thinking about you and your problems. By doing this, she gives you knowledge and peace of mind. Venus also works to help change situations and bring good things into your life after each phone session. After the clock is turned off, Venus does something extra special for you. She asks the high beings to bring through a personal mojo, just for you. Something they feel you may need in your life to make things better. For Venus's rates, how she works, and to set up a session, please go to GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. That's GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. If you really want and need to know about someone or something, email Venus now.
listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hi, welcome back. Oh my, I feel chatty today. I was thinking, Summer told about her lucid dream with my mother, her grandmother, and the show before mine, and how I was with her. Don't remember a darn thing, though. Wish I did. But I'm thinking it's so odd because lately this lady's been coming to my head named Ruth. I worked with her. She was an older lady, and I worked with her for many years, maybe 15 years or so. Periodically I would help her with her life, and just went on for ages. And she died maybe 10 or 15 years ago. She's been in my mind lately. And last night I even dreamed about her. And in the dream she was helping me with something. And I was just sitting here thinking about that. She was working with me, helping me out with some technical work. And all of a sudden I realized, wait a minute, she was good with computers. And, I need a lot of help with that. But I can hear her voice so clearly in my head when we'd talk. She'd say, "Oh, hello, Venus. Ruth here." Ruth here. Anyway, that's very strange. Oh, and this lady sent me a question I thought that I might tackle a bit before we get into our phone calls here. Her name is Tricia. I thought this might be an interesting topic for a radio show. Well, I'm just going to make it an answer. As someone who has lost many loved ones, I was thinking, do they see me in the bathroom and any other personal moments? Or are the dead limited by some sort of boundary after they pass over, by what daily circumstances they could find us in? Well, haven't we all wondered that who are into the metaphysical? But, why would they have an interest in that? Tell me. They're beyond going to the bathroom, for example, and beyond other things. My personal feeling is they're really not interested in that. And what would they find exciting or interesting about it? Would you want to always follow somebody and sit with them while they go to the bathroom? I don't think so. Not unless they were that type on Earth. Although I have to tell you, I do get a lot of good advice when I'm sitting on the pot, but maybe that's just me. What can you do? Just sitting there staring out the window or whatever, and I have things drop into my head. I get a lot of advice. I don't know that they see me. They just see that my mind is open and relaxed, and they come and chat. All right. Well, if you have a thought on it, let me know. If you found some discarnates or spirits watching you at private moments, let me know. I'd like to hear about it. Let's do this. I got to tell you what my next show is, and it says I've got all these papers. It's a good thing I locked the cats out. Okay, January 31st, 2012. Next show will be chatting with and seeing photos from the other side, the interesting world of George Meeks. George was a retired industrialist back in time who'd revolutionized the air conditioning industry, and he made a small fortune with a series of patents. So when he retired, he dived into the world of the metaphysical, and that day we're going to talk about what he saw and found. Kind of out of the ordinary, and I thought we needed to do something like that. My new blog is coming out tomorrow. I have a blog that comes out every Wednesday. I kind of think of it as my truth blog or my truth journal. And as you know, my family's all signed up for their own protection. This is kind of an odd title, but you're going to have to check it out and see what I mean by it. The title tomorrow is Done Any Pooping Lately? Since we're talking about pooping. Done Any Pooping Lately? You might as well subscribe because you don't want to miss anything that might be outrageous. Just go to my website, godisalwayshappy.com/blog. godisalwayshappy.com/blog. It'll take you to the latest blog, and you can sign up there on the right where it's an orange, the orange feed. Okay, all right, let's get into it here. Let's go see what you're up to. All right, Amber, Provo, Utah. Are you there, Amber?
Yes, hi, Venus.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. So what are you doing up there in Provo? How's the weather?
It's actually snowing. We're finally getting some snow here, so everybody's kind of excited. We'll get some tourists in for the ski resorts.
Oh, good.
So what was going on?
Okay. What would you like me to look at today?
I was hoping you'd look into my love life.
All right. Like what kind of things can we look at?
Well, I'm recently divorced, and you had actually warned me about this one, so I wanted to talk to you about like maybe future prospects.
Wait a second. I'd warned you about what?
My ex-husband, we talked along like years ago about it, and you had told me what to kind of expect, and sure enough, it did.
Oh, wow. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I got a really beautiful daughter out of it, so I'm doing okay with it. So
okay.
It's actually a good thing, everything that happened.
Good.
I'm benefiting from it, I should say.
Uh-huh.
So there's been a few prospects since my divorce, but there's one gentleman in particular that I was getting kind of excited about, but I'm getting mixed signals.
Oh.
So I don't know. He says one thing, does the other. So, my gut instinct is to, just drop him. But I'm just wondering if there's anything really there.
Okay. Let me just remind everybody out there what I learned in my life. Never listen to what anybody says. Watch what they do. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Amber, how old are you? What do you do for a living?
I'm 34. I'm a secretary.
Okay. And we need this this man's first name, what he does, age, color, hair, the regular stuff.
Okay. So his name is Steve. He's 34 as well. He drives a cement mixer truck.
Okay.
And he's got dark hair, like brown.
Okay. How long have you been seeing him?
We've only seen each other a few times, but we've been talking for about a month now. Okay.
And how did you meet him? I'm just nosy.
Online.
Okay. So you met him in person now?
Yes, we have met in person, and there was attraction. Okay, good.
Yeah, because so often, you're attracted online, you get all excited, then you meet, and everybody goes, oh.
Yeah.
That's not right. Okay, let me go. I'm going to come into you, Amber. I'm going to whip through your head, zoom, and find Steve, who drives a big cement truck. Steve. Okay, there he is. Got him. Hello. Okay, I'm a friend of Amber's. Can I talk to you, Steve? Okay, first thing I saw was he either wears glasses or it means that he has some intellectual abilities or likes to study things. Does that resonate in any way?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's always nice to have the right man. It goes far afield if you have the wrong person. Okay, Steve, may I come in and talk to you about Amber? Amber. Okay, she said that everything's been going along well, but now you're saying some things, doing others. She's getting mixed signals. Can you tell me about that? He says, well, I'm getting nervous about it. And I'm sitting in my chair here, me personally, and I'm sort of moving up and down a little bit with my back and my waist. I wish I could show you through telepathy or something, but when I asked him how I felt, he just he got kind of nervous and he started moving like that. Also, he might have trouble with his lower back, and it might pain him when he's driving or something.
Yeah.
And so he just automatically, does he do that? Do you know?
I know he has problems with his back.
Okay, so I'm seeing that, and he did that motion when I asked him. So my sense was he got nervous when I asked him. So what, Steve, are you nervous about? Why are you nervous with this? He says, well, I get something started, then I back off. He says, I tend to do this. He says, I know I have to tell you the truth, don't I? I said, yeah, you're a pretty smart guy. He is, to catch on to that right away. Yeah. Well, thank you, Steve. Okay. So why do you do this, do you think? He says, I don't know. He says, things are going well and looking good, and then I back off. He says, I don't want to, or I don't think I want to, but I do. He says, I'm really kind of shy, or maybe it's not that. He says, and he's quite chatty, isn't he? He is with me. Maybe he wants to dump a load here. He's got to get it out of his system, but.
Yeah.
He's saying, and he says, so I start pulling back, but then I don't really have a good reason. I don't know why I do this. He says to me, why do you think I do this? I said, well, I didn't call to analyze you. Give me a call, set up an appointment, but, I'm on the radio right now. He says, you're on the radio? And I said, don't worry, nobody knows who you are, but I'm here to help Amber, so why don't we just do this? Why don't you tell me what you want me to tell Amber? What do you want Amber to know? She wants to know where to go with this, or if you want to go any place with this, or what's happening with you. So can you think a moment and give me a nice, simple, true answer for Amber? So he's thinking. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Do you want to see Amber again? Do you want to keep going on with this? What do you want to do? He says, well, I just got this problem. Now, I'm going to ask you a personal question. Have you had sex with him yet?
No.
Because he's showing me his penis, and I'm so sorry to say that on radio, but you know what we've got to do here. So I think he's got a little problem with it or something in his mind about it. Do you know?
No. In fact, he never, it never seemed to be an issue when we've talked about it.
Well, he worries about it. Huh. Now, why he worries about it may have something to do with why he backs off, or it may mean something like he doesn't want to get involved that way so fast. It could mean many things. Uh-huh. But for some reason, he showed it to me. So this man has issues in his head. He's got concerns and worries. So what I would do if I were you, I would kind of back off emotionally.
Okay.
And just think in your head, what will be, will be. And when you do this, he will feel it because, you know, we're all telepathic.
Yeah.
And he will feel you backing off. And hopefully it will relieve any pressure that he's feeling. Okay. And let it go more slowly.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Don't let him say, well, let's do this, and then let's go out here, let's go there. Say, oh, you know, I really love to, but I just can't. You know, put the brakes on a bit.
Okay.
Not too much. Okay?
Okay.
But let's see if he'll just calm down. You know, let him wiggle around and huff and do all his thing without you taking it personally.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the history, he says. He does things like this.
Yeah. Okay. Because I've asked him, I did ask him straight out, you know, it's like, what is it from one week to the next? What's the difference? And he said nothing.
Okay.
So,
well, just watch him. You know, he's out there single for a reason.
True.
Has he been married?
Yes, he has.
How long has it been since he was married?
I think quite a few years. His son's 15, so I know.
And has he lived with anybody? Do you know his history?
I know that he was in a relationship within the last year or so. I don't know how long it was, but it seemed pretty like they had a truck together, so it seemed like it was pretty serious.
Yeah, okay. All right, you just need to find out. Just ask more questions, find out things, but don't, no matter what he says, even if he says, I love you madly, just say, oh, that's lovely. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes.
Be cool, because if you're not, if you run to meet him that way or whatever, he'll go, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And run or fall backwards. Okay, honey?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, Amber. Thanks for the call.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Venus. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. Wow. Okay. Okay, let's see. How about Sheila in Indiana? Sheila.
Hi,
Sheila.
Venus. How are you?
Good.
Good.
What part
I
of
haven't
Indiana?
spoken in over a year.
You haven't or you have?
I have not.
Oh, were we on the radio or on a private phone conversation?
No.
On the radio. Okay. So what?
I was talking to you about my ex-husband. Now he is anyway. We've been divorced about a year and 4 or 5 months, but we have 2 kids together, and we're getting ready to go back to court over child support. And he is living with his girlfriend still. But I was just wondering if you could go into his head and her head and find out what's going on with them, because if I moved back to Indianapolis, I was wondering if he thought we were going to get back together again or what his
Okay, now let me you got to straighten me out here. You said he's living with his girlfriend still. Was he living with her when you guys were married?
Yeah, he had an affair with her and left our marriage and walked out on our kids, and we both lost our jobs at United Airlines, all 3 of us. She worked at United.
I remember you.
Remember? Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
Yes, and her name was what?
Lori Malone.
Yeah. Okay. Now, your question is, you wonder if you, tell me your question, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, if we're going to get it, we're trying to get our job back, so we're getting ready to hopefully vote a union in at United, and I'm going to get recalled. They can't come back to work, thank God, because I don't want to have to work with both of them again.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering if you could go into his head and see if he plans on maybe leaving her and getting back together. And
do you want that to happen?
I do.
Okay. What's his name again?
Jonathan, but they call him Johnny.
What do you call him?
Johnny.
Johnny. Is he working now?
He was a trucker, and I think he just maybe resigned last week and just is working the dock now.
Okay. And his age?
52.
Okay. And you're how old?
50.
Okay. Hair color for him?
Gray now, but blondish gray.
Okay, Sheila, I'm coming through you again. I'm going to find Johnny. And where is he?
He's in Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Okay. I think we've gotten me straightened out. See if I can get you straightened out. Okay. Johnny in Indianapolis. Johnny. He used to be the pilot. Johnny. And I've been in you before. Can I talk to you again? I want to talk to you about Sheila. Okay. How happy are you since you and Lori got together and you lost your jobs and all that? Would you mind telling me that? I know it's personal, but I ask those kinds of things. Sorry, Johnny. Sometimes I just find my humor amazing. The things I ask people. Okay, so how do you feel about Lori and what's happened? How do you feel about Sheila? He feels lost. He feels lonely. He said it was one of the dumbest things I ever did all the way around. Yes, you did, Johnny. That was a really dumb thing. What he shows me about Lori is that, I don't know if she really looks this way, but I see her like one of those what we call dumb blondes with the great big boobs and painted lips. Was it sex? It was like sex, and she was all over him and said he was Mr. Wonderful, and he was going through a phase, and I get that sense. Do you know if that's true?
That's very true.
Okay. Mm-hmm. He told you that?
Yes, he did.
Well, he's telling me too. Okay, Johnny, but now she looks cheap to him. It's like her skirt has gotten a whole lot shorter and her legs have gotten plumper, and her high-heeled shoes aren't painted right, and she looks like she's getting fatter. Has he told you all this stuff too?
Yeah, she has. I've seen her.
Oh, I feel mean. mean to say all these things. Okay, but we had to. He wanted to tell me all this. So, and he said, okay, so your question is, okay, Johnny, question is, do you want to get back with Sheila? He says if she'd have me. It's like he's showing me the wedding that you guys had till death do us part, in sickness and in health, and till death do us part. He's been thinking about those vows. He says he cut those vows all up with like a rotary blade or the front of a plane, the propeller part. And he said he's just so embarrassed.
Yeah.
He's embarrassed. He feels like he's lost everything. He feels he's lost self-respect. Have you said to him you'd take him back? Because he's saying to me, I don't know if she would take me back or
No, I haven't said anything because I don't want to be slammed,
No, and I don't blame you. So what I would do is just take it easy. I mean, the things I'm saying, he tells me, he's already told you. So we know he's telling you the truth. So, Johnny, I'm going to put this in his head. Sheila, is this okay? I hope that you love him and want him back.
I do.
Okay. Sheila loves you and she wants you back. Sheila loves me and she wants me back. She wants me to be with her and the kids. She forgives me. She understands.
True.
She knows that I made a big mistake and that I know it. She knows I'm a good guy. And I love her so much. I really need to have dinner with her and talk to her. And he's thinking, in a sense, seduce you again, but he really means romance you all over. So let's see what happens here. I can tell you what, he's not a happy man. So it's a good thing at play.
Her head, and maybe she would tell him to leave. I don't know. And she told him that he probably would.
Well, Lori, what, is she working? What is she doing?
Yeah, she's working for a trucking company, like customer service.
And how old is she?
50.
Lori. I'm a friend of Johnny's. How do you feel about Johnny now? The bloom is off the old rose for both of them. He's not the same man he was when he was a pilot and all that. He's just like, he's gone down in her estimation. So I don't want to put thoughts into somebody's head like, that would be offensive or anything. So I'm just going to say, I need to think this through, as she's thinking. I need to think this through. Do I still want him? Do I still want to be with him? Or do I want to kick him to the side and find somebody else for my life? I need to really think about this. It's not what either of us thought it would be. I really need to think about this. All right. You know, I got to move on because I'm way past my break here. I got myself so involved with you and the floozy and your husband. Oh, most of us have been a floozy in some way at some time, and I feel for her too. All right, darling, I'm going to have to let you go. Let us know how it progresses, okay?
Okay.
All right, Sheila, love you. Bye. All right. Oh, gosh, we got to go for another short break. When I come back, I got to be throwing out a mojo to everybody here, too. Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus Show.
I'm Venus's daughter, Summer McStravick, and I hope you can join me for my online radio show, Flow Dreaming. Visit my website, flowdreaming.com, for all the dates and times it plays. That's Flow Dreaming. I hope to see you there.
Where snow meets body.
Become a power manifester with Summer McStravick's complete Flow Dreaming Library CD set. Finally, here is a real practical technique that you can do in 15 minutes a day to activate the law of attraction in your life. No meditation, no long learning curve. Summer shows you how to easily start rewriting your energy patterns now. Go to flowdreaming.com to listen to actual excerpts of the CDs as you become a power manifester. Visit flowdreaming.com.
Venus thinks the world needs cheering up. Let me tell you, her blog certainly does that. Every week it's a true story about her life and the people in it. Here are a few comments. Oh, thank you. I am laughing so hard. Every Wednesday it's great to start my day like this. And love, love, love to read your blogs. You always make my day. I have emailed your blogs on to many people this year. And your blogs are profound, prophetic, and wise. They make me laugh and cry and everything in between. And okay, Venus, I almost spewed coffee out of my nose reading this one. Too funny. By the way, her family subscribes to her blog for their own protection. You can subscribe too. Just look for the orange-colored feed at the top of the blog. You can find the latest and often harrowing adventures in Venus's life at godisalwayshappy.com/blog. That's godisalwayshappy.com/blog.
Reach Venus for your own private reading by visiting godisalwayshappy.com and using the contact form to reach Venus. You can also enter to win a free psychic reading with Venus by signing up for her blog or newsletter at godisalwayshappy.com. Venus draws winners' names each week. Plus, you can follow her very interesting life. That's godisalwayshappy.com. You're listening to Dear Venus with your host, Venus Andrecht.
Hi, welcome back. All right. Let's see. What are we going to do here? It's a Dear Venus show, right? I'm taking your calls. Also got a few things to mention here. The mojos, I'm going to throw one out. And on my website, I do have that free mojo you can download with the music and everything. Everything is always okay. Also, you can look at the mojo product site. Got a lot of mojos for sale there for a nominal fee. And in set 2, most of those have 2 mojos. They're double mojos, so you get double the whammy for the same price. You might want to check it out. And that would be on godisalwayshappy.com, godisalwayshappy.com. And set 1 has, I believe it has 20% off the price. Anyway, there's deals all over the place. And Blake just sent this to me, I think yesterday. He said, I just downloaded your entire second Mojo library, set 2, and I'm loving them. Since moving to California, I believe my barriers to receiving energy help and healing are being dissolved, and therefore your Mojos are helping me more than they could before with all of the blocks I had. I use mostly the variations because of the strength to them, but still all wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's the things I just talked about. I get so many emails about those mojos and the magic they work. Learned how to do magic mojos, good energy from my mother. And anything else here? Oh, we have a winner. We have a winner. Oh, you know, when my blog comes out tomorrow, on my blog, I go through the comments, and I choose a comment at the end of the month through all the blog's comments, and I choose a winner for a 10-minute free phone session with me, and I announce that in the next month's blog. But this is a winner from the pot. How do you get into the pot for everything? You just go to my website again, godisalwayshappy.com, and you'll see the blue headphones. Sign up for my newsletter, my postcards, email stuff right there. The winner is, and every week I choose one, every Tuesday on this show, Stephanie Martin. Stephanie, contact me soon because this is valid through January 23rd, 2012. After that, null and void. It's a 10-minute phone reading with me. I've been doing a lot of those lately. You guys have been really picking up on your names here. All right, let's hop to the board here. Let's see. Sylvia in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Sylvia. Hello.
Hi, Venus. Thank you for taking my call. How are you?
Good. What are we going to do for you, Sylvia?
Well, my daughter, my daughter's in the hospital right now.
Oh.
And what I can't tell is whether or not she's going through a spiritual awakening or if they're trying to label her as bipolar. She's never been depressed, but she did have some kind of a psychotic episode that was kind of predicated by having pneumonia, stressed school, and broke up with her boyfriend and lost 20 pounds, all within the span of about 7 to 10 days.
What's her first name? How old is she?
Her name is Audrey, and she's 21.
You know, I just want to mention, you said she had pneumonia, and I was reminded how there had been research done on strep. People who've had strep, a lot of times they get obsessions and all kinds of anxiety disorders, and they found that the strep has lodged in the brain and caused these things to happen. And when you said pneumonia, I thought viral. I thought there was something to that. I just got a sense. So, but let me go look at her. What color is her hair?
It's dark brown.
Okay, I got her. I was seeing her already. So how long has she been in the hospital?
She's been there now since December 16th.
Oh, right. Is she in a mental hospital?
Yeah, she's on a psych ward, and they're keeping her heavily medicated, which really bothers me because my gut tells me this is not bipolar. And because they're not listening to her, and she's telling them about the side effects, they're not working, and this medication is not working.
Yeah, you know, I feel like at least some of this is physical. Yeah. Let me go into her. Let me go through you, Sylvia, and into Audrey, right? Audrey?
Yes.
Audrey, in the mental hospital, Audrey, 22. Audrey, I want to go to the part of you that's still aware and thinking underneath all the drugs here and talk to you. I'm a friend of your mom. She's asked me to come and see if I can help you. How are you doing in there? Let me see what's wrong. It feels like her head's all swollen up really big. That's from the drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, all puffed up inside. Okay, what happened to Audrey to cause this to happen? I think she went out of balance. Her body went out of balance. She needs really good nutrition. She needs to eat super well. It'd be good if you could get her to a nutritionist, or if you could get her someplace where she'd be like in a home or something, but where it would be where they did really good food and nutrition, like a clinic of some kind. I think she needs some viral bacterial things killed off. I don't mean with drugs. You can do that with herbal things. Yeah. It's like when they say she's snapped, it's because she just couldn't carry anymore. It was a mixture of all these things. And I personally tend to think that most, if not all, mental illness is something that is fixable. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I think this is what it is. I don't know what you can do, how you can get her out of there and someplace else where she can get some real help. I'm not saying get her off the drugs. She may need some for a while. Mm-hmm. Well, she's being rebuilt, you might say, but she needs super good nutrition and foods, and she needs rest. She needs to be out. It's almost like someone with TB who needs to go to a rest home and needs sun and air and light and good food and rest. It's like that.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're stressed and your immune system is low, then the bacteria, viruses, you're a sitting duck.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that's what she needs. That's what I feel. I think she could be a whole lot better. There might be some vestiges left over because I think some damage has been done.
Okay.
But I think she could be a whole lot better and be able to deal with this, okay?
Okay.
So I have to toss it back to you and leave it to you as to how you're going to make this happen.
Well, I've been trying to do it, as much as I can, but you have to walk a fine line because, the minute that I question the doctor's authority and say, have you checked X, Y, and Z?
I know.
Don't want to hear it. They just...
Yeah, I know.
Just more drugs at her, more drugs, more drugs.
When my brother was in the hospital, Arthur, this is the one who was dying of leukemia. We almost lost him. And the doctors wouldn't hear anything. And we wanted to give him some standard process, which would be good for your daughter. Standard process is made from all natural plants, animal parts, everything, just all natural, and it feeds the body. You can get it online. You can talk to my brother-in-law, Dr. Ron Myers. He's at insightdoctor@yahoo.com, INSIGHT, doctor spelled out .com. No, that's not right, at yahoo.com, insightdoctor@yahoo.com. It's hard when I'm out of my head here. And just say you talk to me and advice. He charges by the minute, but he's very reasonable. But anyway, my brother, we wanted to give him some things for leukemia, and also he couldn't eat, and we wanted to feed him some really good foods, and so we had to sneak everything in.
That's basically what I'm doing, is sneaking in green drinks and all kinds of, here's your B vitamins, and here's your probiotics, and here's
you need the best products available.
Yeah.
So look into standard process. And with my brother, I really believe my sister Polly, who's married to Dr. Ron, I believe she saved his life. We all think that. If he hadn't done what she would take in there and we'd take in, he wouldn't be here today. So I encourage you to look into that, all right?
Yes. Thank you so much, Venus.
You're welcome, Sylvia. Just hang on the line. Let me do this. I'm going to do a mojo. We might as well smack you and your daughter with it close up, okay?
Wonderful, yes.
Okay. All right, let me see here. All right, how about for balance in our lives, peace of mind, excellent, robust health? Everybody just take a deep breath out there. Everybody who wants this, stand up, throw up your arms in the air, and get ready to grab it. But this is for peace of mind, happiness, robust health, everything in balance in our lives, everything in balance, while everything works beautifully and works out for the best. Are we all ready out there? All right, Sylvia, you and Audrey are right up here at first, and everybody else is going to get it too. Wham! Bam! 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 Woo! Woo! Bam! 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 Woo! 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 Bam! 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 Ch! Bam! Ch! Bam! Woo! Bam! Bam! Woo! 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 Whoa! 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 Bam! Wow.
Wow.
All right, Sylvia, I guess I'm through with you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you. Thank you for calling. I hope everybody feels better out there. How you doing out there? Anybody feel anything? Well, I guess I could read your minds out there, but I get information through the chat room. Let's see. I've only got a minute or two left here, so let's just see what I've got here in my pile. Here's a letter from a lady. She said, "Here is baby blank blank. You may remember my daughter taking time getting pregnant. She wasn't able to, and then she listened to your mojo with the fertility in it. My daughter is now delighted with her brand new son. Thank you for the free Everything is Okay mojo. I start my day listening to all the mojo downloads." I'm remembering, I think this was on air. It was on a radio show. Something came up for a lady, and I did a fertility mojo. And I remember saying to everybody, hey, if you don't want this, get under the table, get away, whatever. Anyway, so it did work. It did work. Okay. Somebody says over on the chat room, Pomalee said, wow, Venus, that was one extra strong mojo. Yay. Somebody saying, wee, woo. Wow. This show has been full of wows today. Okay. I wish I could have spent some time over here in the chat room because a lot of times they're pretty interesting and they ask me questions but I feel like I'm just running from one thing to the other here. So from Joyce, thank you again, Venus. I'm still tingly from the mojo. We are so blessed to have you here. I am grateful for all your hard work over the years so that you may help us all so much. Well, thank you very much for that. because, it has been a hard life, just like all the rest of us. Don't you ever look at it sometimes and you say, I don't know how I got through it. Wow, I'm pretty tough. All right, Studio Man Sam says it's time for me to go. The show is over, but I'll be back next week. Look for my blog coming out tomorrow. And I'll see you real soon. See you on Facebook, too. I'm on the fan page only. That's where you'll find me, Venus Andrecht. Talk to you later, Venus Andrecht, The Dear Venus Show. Bye.